Alright, make sure that you have your sheet out from our notes from yesterday. Alright, you should have all these notes filled out on the front already from the two videos from 3.1 and 3.2. If you don't have those done yet, please go back and do those notes before you look at these. Okay? So what we're going to look at today is the power of a product, the power of a power rule first. So that is when we have a power like x squared to a power like x cubed. So I'm going to write this out a couple of ways. So I'm going to write it out first of all, since I've got x squared cubed, that means I've got 3 of these x squared. So I've got x squared times x squared times x squared. Okay? And then I'm going to make that even a little bit simpler because I want to make that equal to this x squared is 2x's, the next one is 2x's, and then the last one is 2x's. So really what we're looking at here is how many x's? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 x's. So that is x to the 6th power. Okay? So x squared to the 3rd power is x to the 6th power. All right, let's go ahead and look at that on the next one here. M to the 5th to the 2nd. All right, and m to the 5th to the 2nd, that means that there's 2 m to the 5ths, right? So m to the 5th times m to the 5th, and that's the same thing as saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 m's times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more m's. So really that is 10 m's, so m to the 10th power. Okay. And then one last one that we're going to look at together is w to the 3rd power. Okay. So we've got 3w to the 3rds because that w to the 3rd is taken to the 3rd power. And that's the same thing as saying w times 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 w. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 w's. So let's go ahead and look at this rule real quick and kind of put it all together. If you look at x to the 2nd to the 3rd, you get x to the 6th. X to the 5th to the 2nd, you get x to the 10th. W to the 3rd to the 3rd, you get w to the 9th. So I'm hoping that you're seeing this pattern right now, that all you've got to do is take your exponents and multiply them together to get what we get here. Now it's important to remember that rule, but it's also important to remember why that works. Alright? And go ahead and make sure you remember the standard or the expanded form in the middle here. Alright? So the next thing we're going to talk about is what's called the power of a quotient rule. Alright? Power of a quotient rule. So in the power of a quotient rule, we've got x to the 5th over y to the 3rd, all to the 2nd. Now if we had x to the 5th over over x to the 3rd, we could subtract those if you remember back to the quotient rule, right? But they don't have the same base, so we can't. So what we're saying here now is we've got 2 of these. So we've got x to the 5th over y to the 3rd times x to the 5th over y to the 3rd. Okay. And then if we write this out in expanded form, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 x's on the top and 3 y's on the bottom. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 x's on the top and 3 y's on the bottom. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 x's on the top, so x to the 10th. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 y's on the bottom. Okay. So I'm hoping you're seeing a pattern already with this, but we're going to do a couple more. So let's do one more right now. Alright, m to the 3rd over n to the 2nd, all to the 2nd. So that's really m to the 3rd over n squared times m to the 3rd over n squared. So let's write that out again. So we've got 1, 2, 3 m's on the top, 2 on the bottom. 2 n's on the bottom. 3 m's on the top and 2 n's on the bottom. And if you look at those, now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When we multiply them out, we've got 6 m's on the top and we've got 4 n's on the bottom. Alright, last one. Last one is b to the 4th over b to the 3rd, all to the 3rd power. What I'd like you to do right now is I'd like you to write out what do you think it's going to be at the end here. Put your exponents here on what you think it's going to be, and then we'll check it by going through and doing the work. Okay. So let's do the work. All right, so we got 4 of these. So we've got b to the 4th over c to the 3rd, and we've got b to the 4th over c to the 3rd, and then we've got b to the 4th over c to the 3rd. So we've got 3 of them here. So let's write them all out in expanded form. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 b's, 1, 2, 3, 4 b's, 1, 2, 3, 4 b's. And then we got 1, 2, 3 c's, 1, 2, 3 c's, 1, 2, 3 c's. Draw the fractions, and now we can go ahead and count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We have 12 b's, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 c's still on the bottom. All right. I hope that matched up with what your guess was. If it wasn't, then let's talk about how we get it. If we look at this, 5 to the 2nd is 5 to the 10th. I'm sorry, x to the 10th. And then x to the 3rd to the 2nd is x to the 6th. So we're doing the same thing that we did up here with multiplying their exponents, except for we have to do it with the numerator and the denominator. You can't forget one. All right? You got to make sure you do it with both. Okay. Questions. If you have a question at this point, you should raise your hand or ask the person next to you really quickly so that you're ready for the next part. All right, the next part is the power of a product rule. All right, so this is where we've got 2 things that are being multiplied together, but we're taking it to a power. All right, so we've got 2b to the 2nd to the 2nd. Now, a lot of people, when they write this out, would say, all right, b to the 2nd to the 2nd, that is b to the 4th. And then they just put the 2 in front. So I want to make sure that you don't write that like that and that we talk about how this works. So 2b to the 2nd is really 2b to the 2nd times 2b to the 2nd, right? Which is the same thing as 2bb times 2bb. And how many b's do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. We already knew that we were going to have 4, right? Here's the thing, though. A lot of people just want to add these 2 numbers together here because they're like, oh, well, we just add their exponents or we just multiply these 2 together. In this case, it actually works out because we have 2 and 2. All right? But 2 times 2 is 4. Let's do one that doesn't have a 2, though. All right? So 5a squared b all to the 3rd. So let's write this out as 5a squared b times 5a squared b times 5a squared b. And now we can just write this out in expanded form. So we got 5a a b, 5a a b, 5a a b. And we've got all those now. So now let's just figure out what we got here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 a's. So that's a to the 6. We've got 1, 2, 3 b's. So that's b to the 3rd. And we've got 1, 2, 3 5's. So that's 15, right? No, it's not 15. 5 times 5 times 5 is not 15. 5 plus 5 would be 15. So 5 times 5 is 25, and 25 times 5 is 125. So each of these things in here you have to take to the 3rd power. And then again, you are basically just using the power of a power rule, right? But you got to do it with all of the terms in the parentheses. Right, and the b here, I know the b is a little tricky because you're like, well, b doesn't have an exponent, right? Well, I just want to remind you that whenever you have a number or a variable that doesn't have an exponent, you really have it to the 1st power. All right, we just don't write that 1 in. Right? So there'd be 1 times 3 is 3, 2 times 3 is 6, 1 times 3 is 3, and then we simplify the 5 to the 3rd as 125. All right, last one that we're going to do together real quick is 3x squared y cubed z, all to the 2nd power. So I'm going to write that out. So 3x squared y cubed z, and then that's 3x squared y cubed z. All right, so we've only got 2 of them. I can put them in parentheses, or I can just put a dot between them so I can see that I've got the 2 there. And now I'm going to write them out in expanded form. So I've got 3x, y, z. And then I've got 3, x, x, y, 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 z. Alright? And then I can just simplify it. 3 times 3 is 9. Now a lot of people still want to put that 6 there because they're like, oh, we'll just multiply the 3 to the by 2. And you don't multiply the 3 by 2, you multiply the 3's exponent by 2. And 3 to the second power is 9. So we take the x's, 2x's, 2x's, so that's 4x's, so that's x to the 4th. Y's, we got 3, 6, so that'd be y to the 6th. And z's, we have 2 of them. So 9x to the 4th, y to the 6th, z squared. Okay? Go ahead and go to the 3.3 and you can do some practice. Go to 3.2 and you can do some practice. Go to 3.1 and you can do some practice. So anywhere where you need practice, if you're good on 3.1 and 3.2, then I'd start with 3.3. All right. You can check out the check for understandings and make sure that you understand them. All right. If you have questions, please make sure that you let me know. And good luck.